So, GEIP program, it's actually a very interesting idea, concept by the school in order to give students a chance at developing some entrepreneurial skills, learning from the founders of various startups.
The people here are more open-minded and they speak what is on their mind. So here in the valley itself, people are very friendly. They will even strike a conversation with you even if they don't really know you at all. Then they'll get to know more about you and your product, your startup, etc. And eventually you get to learn a lot from this kind of small talks and conversation.
For this GEIP program, when we come here, we actually work in startups. So when you work in a startup, the hierarchy is very, very different from if you were to work as an intern in Singapore. So under this program, I interned at StrikeDeck, and I actually got to spend a lot of time with my co-founders, who actually taught me a lot of valuable skill sets that I would not have been able to learn in Singapore.
Apart from work, we also had opportunities to travel around and explore the beautiful city that we were in. I remember the time where we went cycling along the bay. We cycled across the Golden Gate Bridge. We went to Land's End to hike, and we even spent Christmas at Lake Tahoe. And we saw snow and went sledding. It was a good experience. It's a good mixture of both work and both living abroad, and it's very enjoyable for me.
The purpose of why do I want to extend, for another 6 months, to prolong, my graduation date is because I see the value in this program, and it's about the people that brings this value up, and the people that we meet in Silicon Valley right here in the US, has given me so much perspective about how can they not only manage a business, but what idea that they have that they could execute it.
My advice for the next batch of intern is not to lose the ignition to your dreams. And even though you are faced with challenges, right, and you feel negative about it, right, use that negativity as a motivation to work towards your dream. And the most important thing is to be happier. Make sure you're happy with what you do. Yeah.
And I must say, the two interns we had that we worked with was Lucas and Angeline, who were really phenomenal, exceptional talent. What's really nice about these guys, they were very much self-starters, which you need in a company like ours that it's a startup. So there was some initial ramp-up where you have to explain things and they have to understand your product and what you're doing. I found that they had such thirst for consuming information. So everything we threw at them, they read it, and within a very short while they came. Not only I felt they read it, but they understood it, and they even went beyond that material where they looked up things and they say, hey, you guys are mentioning blah blah blah, is it comparable to this concept as well?
My appreciation comes mainly from the two intern experiences that I've had here. I've worked with Ivan very closely, quite awesome experience, and his contribution has been priceless at many levels. And Siti is a latecomer, and I think she's very, very talented, and she has a lot to contribute in the future to whatever she's going to aim in mind to do.
This is the second batch of GEIP interns that we have worked with, and Richard is a very multifaceted individual. One common theme that we had added to him was supporting some of our customers. So he in fact supported some of our international customers, and Richard was very much proactive in terms of responding to their questions, which means that he needed to be really an expert on the product, which he did become.
Viren's been with us for about 4.5 months now, and he came with a set of programming skills that fit very nicely, and he was, we were confident enough about his capabilities that we gave him a pretty important, component or subsystem within our backend software, and he's executed well. Viren's executed his tasks well, and we've enjoyed having him here with us for the last 4.5 months, and I hope he's enjoyed the stay as well.
Isaac is great in building bonds, so he's been able to build bond with our sales team. He's been able to build a bond with our marketing team. He's been able to build a special relationship with both the founders. He's been highly inquisitive, has been asking questions right from the time he got into StrikeDeck. Looked at problems from business perspective, and creative perspective. So he's been able to blend those two skills, which is very impressive. And I do think that Isaac has got a great career in front. He'll do really well. He'll look at problems from different angles, not just from one perspective, but from multiple perspectives. He'll ask hard questions before jumping in to solving the problem.